Good day, sir. Good day, classmates. My name is Spencer Barlusca. I am assigned to discuss the lesson 3, which is about accommodation and curricular modification. This lesson is part of the module 2, components of special and inclusive education. We have two objectives for our lesson. First is to identify accommodation and modification support services in the classroom. Second is to discuss the curricular modifications and special education programs. Now, in the Philippines, special education has only served 2% of about 2% of the targeted 2.2 million children with disabilities who lack a core human right, which is the right of education. And most of these children reside in rural or remote areas whose parents need to be aware of the educational opportunities that their children could avail of. And so the Department of Education has emphasized the urgency to solve this situation, ensuring that these children have the right to a suitable education in a conventional or inclusive classroom setting, with the cooperation from school personnel, students, parents, and the community. Inclusive education emphasizes the principle of accepting all children regardless of race, size, shape, color, ability, or disability. Now, a comprehensive inclusive education program for children with special needs has the following components according to DEX Order number 72, 2009. We have five components. First is Child Find. Child Find is basically about locating where these children with special needs are through the family mapping survey, advocacy campaigns, and networking with local health workers. And we also have assessment. This is the continuous process of identifying the strengths and weaknesses of child through the use of formal and informal tools for proper program grade placement. And of course, we also have program options and of course parental involvement. And for this component, curriculum modification, according to the Dex order, this shall be implemented in the forms of adaptations and accommodation. And this is basically what we are going to discuss for our lesson. In accordance to the Dex order number 72, 2009, titled Inclusive Education, a Strategy for Increasing Participation Rate of Children, this component shall take the shape of adaptations and accommodations in order to foster optimum learning based on the individual's needs and potentials. In special education, the terms modifications and accommodations are frequently used interchangeably. These two concepts, however, do not mean the same thing and have far-reaching ramifications for the child's education. It is critical for us teachers to understand the distinction between the two. But it is important to remember that although accommodations and modifications have distinctions, they are still fluid with each other. For example, just because a student requires modification in reading, they may receive accommodations rather than modifications in science. But we will further discuss about this in a few moments. And moreover, students, particularly those with ASD or autism spectrum disorder, may go back and forth between modifications and accommodations depending on criteria such as content area, time of year, and specific curriculum areas, as well as their interest, cognitive capacities, and lack of reciprocity. These two both occurs in a general education classroom, yet differ on the objectives, strategies, and materials used. We will now discuss accommodations. The term accommodation refers to a change in the environment, curriculum format, or equipment that enables a person with a handicap to access content and or accomplish given tasks. This helps students with disabilities to continue their studies in a conventional setting. Instructors should be able to use the same grading scale for students with disabilities as they do for students without disabilities because accommodations do not change what is being taught. Supports and services that are offered to assist a student in accessing the general education curriculum and validly demonstrating learning is accommodations. Accommodations in the classroom remove learning barriers so that every child has equal access to learning. Okay, below are considered as accommodations in a special and inclusive education. Okay, we have time, setting, level of support, reduce response effort, sensory items, and visual schedules. Okay, in time, we could extend the time allotted to take a test, finish an assignment, learn a concept, or complete an activity. So basically, we are accommodating the time given to the students with disabilities. Okay, it said here that we could extend the time allotted to take a test, finish an assignment, learn a concept. So we are altering the time given to them, okay, to accommodate their needs. And we could also accommodate using the settings. Students can take tests in a distraction-free space, potentially a resource room, so it is easier for the child to focus. So when there is when there are we give tests to the children, and we notice that the children with the learner with special needs is distracted, so we could accommodate the place that they may take the test. We could change the place where the child is going to take the test exam, so he or she will not be distracted. And also there is a level of support. Okay, we could accommodate the level of support given to those children. It is also written here, peer assistant. Okay, we could assign a student an exceptional classmate of him or her to assist him when doing an activity, or we could basically as teachers do support him far more better than um, his or her other classmates. And okay, next is reduce response effort. Okay, the use of calculator, scribe, or word processor to assess the student when an answer is expected. So for example, when we are asking the children to a question for a certain question, okay, a math, okay, 5 plus 3. So when we are asking that child with special need, and we could reduce the response effort for them. Okay, we could allow them to, for example, use the calculator, so they could just input 8 plus 3. So they could answer the question. So that is basically about the reduced response effort. The students still must understand the concept of what is asked. So this is important, that the student still must understand the concept of what is asked in order to accurately manipulate any of these tools. Because if a student knows their basic math facts, a calculator is an accommodation. So kung kabalo na siya daan sa pag-plus, this is giving a calculator to that student is accommodation. But if the student does not know their facts and we allow them to use a calculator, this is considered as modification and not accommodation. Next is sensory items. So we give items to students with special needs. Fidgets to help students focus, signed language interpreters for students who are deaf, computer text to speech computer-based systems for students with visual impairments or dyslexia, and also large print books and worksheets for students with visual impairments. So these are basically sensory items to enhance their senses. And next is visual schedules. Visual schedules is to communicate the sequence of upcoming activities or events through the use of objects, photographs, icons, or words to support students with disabilities in the classroom. Okay, let us now proceed to modifications. Okay, a change in the curriculum is referred to as modifications. Students with special needs who are unable to absorb all of the subject that an instructor is teaching are given modifications. In this matter, individualized curriculum and performance expectations for pupils have been implemented. Educators in most industrialized nations are modifying teaching techniques and environments to support the greatest number of pupils in general education settings, according to Ravitch 1995. Thus, changes to what a youngster is taught or expected to do in class is what we call modifications. Below are considered as modifications in a special and inclusive education. Okay, we have three: quantity, output, and alternate goals. In quantity, we could modify the number of items that a child is expected to learn or complete. Okay, depending on how it is written in the IEP, this could include entire sections of the curriculum. For example, only completing the addition portion of the math assignment that also includes subtraction, multiplication, and division. Next is output. How a student responds to instruction. For example, instead of writing an essay, they may be given multiple choice questions. Instead of an open-ended questions, they may be given a yes or no strategy option. Next is alternate goals. Okay? Use the general education curriculum while adapting the goal or outcome expectation. For example, instead of taking the MEAP test, the students takes the MI Access. We are now on the second part of our lesson, which is about the special education programs. Okay, we have seven programs. First is the Special Education Center. This is a service delivery system which operates on the school within a school concept. Okay, according to the DEX Order Number 11/2000, or the recognized special education or SPED centers in the Philippines, in pursuant to the DEX Order Number 26, 1997, titled Institutionalization of SPED Programs in All Schools, there should be at least one SPED center organized in every school division. Through the formal system, this center aims to provide basic education to children with special needs, such as gifted or talented, mentally retarded, visually impaired, hearing impaired, orthopedically handicapped, learning disabled, speech defectives, children with behavioral problems, autistic children, and those with health problems. Okay? The center will also serve as a resource center for inclusive education, assisting in the integration of children with special needs into regular schools, conducting school-based in-service training, developing appropriate teaching materials, and conducting ongoing assessments of children with special needs. The second is special class or self-contained class. This is the most popular type among the special education programs. The term self-contained classroom refers to a classroom in which all academic topics are taught by a special education teacher. Self-contained classrooms are commonly used for children with various extensive support needs who require a thorough and highly structured educational and or behavioral problems. So self-contained class is completely different with the first one because the special education center is operates on a school within a school concept, while the special class is different because this is a self-contained classroom. The third program is about the integration and mainstreaming programs. These have followed children and youth with disabilities to study in regular classes and learn side by side with their peers for the last 40 years. The phrases mainstreaming and integration have been phased out in favor of inclusion. The goal of integration is to create a welcoming learning environment. Such programs emphasize the inclusion of children with special needs in regular classrooms with accommodations and or adaptations to the curricula based on their needs in order to help them succeed. Next is partial mainstreaming. This refers to children who have moderate or severe forms of disabilities that are mainstreamed in a regular class. Partial mainstreaming is the placement of students with disabilities in the regular classroom for part of their instructional day, but not as the primary placement. Next is full mainstreaming. Children with disabilities are enrolled in regular classes and recite in all the subjects in this program. Full mainstreaming is the practice of placing students who require special education services in a general education classroom based on their abilities. This means that children in the special education classroom will be allowed to enter the regular education classroom at times that are appropriate for the special education student. Next is special day school. Okay, this refers to one or more type of disabilities. Students who are enrolled in general education but earn special day minutes as part of their IEP receive instruction in a small group setting for up to 4 academic topics from a special education teacher. A special day class is a rigorous educational program tailored to the needs of children with exceptional needs. If a child has significant mental or emotional illness as well as learning impairments, he or she may be eligible for this program. Next is the residential school. Okay, this provides both special education and dormitory services for its students. The residential school setting and its staff are uniquely suited to provide the child with educational opportunities as well as the opportunity to practice new skills. Throughout the child's waking hours, the professional staff and teachers give support and reinforcement. This provides him or her with a high level of stability that is difficult to replicate at home and goes beyond the boundaries of a typical school day. This is all for my report, and if you have not completely understand or have some clarifications, feel free to chat me so I could answer your questions. Thank you for watching my report.